Jonathan, a lot of outsiders, quote unquote, a lot of people have joined the BDS movement, the Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions movement, which again, many supporters of Israel, many Jews who are not big supporters of Israel, look at that and they say, well, you know, we're being singled out. This is a boycott of Jews, not just Israel. It's anti-Semitic. Do you share that view?
Well, I think in practice what it does is it hits a very raw nerve for Jews because they have a memory of boycotts. So as a tactic, it has a very unfortunate history. And the other thing is how it plays out in practice. So when, for example, there was an effort to boycott Israeli goods in a supermarket, suddenly the entire kosher section of a supermarket here in Britain was cleared out, all Jewish goods removed. So that played to the worst fears Jews have about BDS, which is, in effect, it may be meant to be anti-Israel, it'll end up being anti-Jewish.
Noura, BDS plays to the worst fears.
I also think that leaders have made it part of the worst fears, but we have to consider two things. One, it's a non-violent, grassroots-led movement that's working to overcome diplomatic intransigence. At the same time that Israeli leaders have marked BDS as the second most lethal threat to Israel after a nuclear-capable Iran, they've also incapacitated all other forms of intervention and resistance, including legal forms, diplomatic forms, and otherwise. And so this is not about BDS alone. This is about making sure that Palestinians have no form of resistance left available to them that's legitimate.
Lisa, do you share that view that this is about trying to demonize and discredit BDS rather than legitimate fears on the part of some Jews that this is a boycott of Jews once again in our history?
There is some Look, I find the BDS movement pretty innocuous. It hasn't had any impact whatsoever on the facts on the ground. I think that, you know, when as someone who has Israeli citizenship, who lived in Israel for many years, you know, in my local market, the people would ask the owner if the eggs were from settlements, and if he said yes, they wouldn't buy them. So, you know, boycotting is nothing new inside Israel either. I have Jewish friends who are involved in the BDS movement. I'm not involved with it. But I think that anybody who wants to boycott it's a completely legitimate form of non-violent resistance. Go for it. But the point is to end the occupation. Is BDS causing any kind of progress towards ending the occupation? And the answer is no, it's not.
That's not true or fair.
Very briefly,
That's not true or fair.
Tell me in one sentence what the best thing BDS has done in your view so far.
Frankly, it's created enough controversy so that we can have this discussion and it doesn't remain a taboo that we have to talk about in hushed circles.